Good evening. I can't really play a game of chess today. I'm far too tired, so I decided I would analyse my best ever win, which was against a 2095 best win in rapid, apparently. So I think this counts as my best win. I have beaten higher rated players, but those were in unrated games. So this is my best win in a rated game. Best I've done against a rated player. So I played e4, best by test. He played e5. I played bishop to. I played pawn to f4, the king's gambit. The idea is to establish a big centre for white and weaken black's centre. He takes the pawn, and I play the slightly more unusual bishop's gambit. Uh, the idea is that if he comes here and checks, the king is in a square where it's harder for the opponent's pieces to get to it, and he can gain a number of tempos against the queen. He plays d5. Yeah, this is probably the best move, and I'd say it with the bishop. Now, I've read books. I've read a lot of books on the King's Gambit actually, and the book by Gallagher is my favourite. But some people say that taking with the bishop is best, and some people say that taking with the pawn is best. Both have advantages and disadvantages. He comes to f6 and threatens the bishop, and I come out with the knight. He takes and I take, and now I've got a threat against this pawn. He plays queen to h4 check. Great, I'm very happy with that because, now I'm getting knight here check with a tempo. Bishop comes to d6 to defend the pawn which I've just attacked. The knight comes to f3 to protect to threaten the queen. The bishop pins the pawn to the queen, and I play d4. I'm ready to play d5, e5, and then take this pawn. So he takes the pawn on f3, and knight on f3, and I take the bishop with the queen. And I'm even more ready to. Now I've got bishop, queen, and knight on the e5 pawn, and it's defended just by the queen and bishop. So he plays c6, and I take with the knight, and now I've gained that. And he castles, and I chase his queen first. He can't play check here, covered by the knight. And then instead of chasing the rook, bishop straight away, I strengthen my centre first. He pushes the pawn, and I've chased the bishop now. And he retreats with the bishop, and the king comes, and I'm looking at playing rook here, and maybe king to g1, maybe king to h1, castling by hand. This keeps the knight out of this square. Maybe not the best idea, but you got to do something. So he plays f6, but it's never a good idea. And it's a long time since I played this game, so I don't really remember how it went. But I really hope that I played e6 now, because it looks like the best move to me now at this moment in time. I didn't. Oh, of course I get that. I went for the fork. Yeah, okay, great. Going for the fork. Yeah, bit materialistic, but fair enough. And he takes and gets a pawn for his troubles, and there's no threatening the queen. I take the knight, the rook with the knight, and he takes with the bishop, and I take the pawn. And he attacks the pawn, but I'm threatening. If he takes the pawn, then I've got queen f7 check, and the king's got to go here, and then I've got mate. So he plays h6, and I play bishop to f4 to defend the pawn and attack the queen behind it. He pushes the pawn, and I chase the knight away, and he takes the knight, and I'm happy with that. I'm very happy. Now I've got a supported pass pawn, 2 away from queening, and I've got an exchange up, and I've got a pawn up as well. I'm definitely winning here. The rook comes to e8, and the rook comes to d8. You might think, well, wouldn't it be better supporting the pawn? Well, that's the job for this rook. And then the queen can roam around terrorizing things. That's what I thought. And this rook does the job of protecting that pawn. And now he says check, and the king comes out of the way. Fine by me. I'm now got the lovely threat of playing f5, threatening the rook, and then e6 comes free. Yeah, fine. Fine by me. So of course I play f5, and yeah, okay, that's a reasonable move, but no, that pawn is just too away from being a new queen. Okay, I can't really do it directly because he just takes it with the bishop, but I can maybe play bishop here, queen here, to double up the threat on it, and yeah. So now he threatens this pawn, good, but I'm just going to break down his structure. If he takes the pawn, I'll probably just play pawn here, check. And then I can play pawn here. And he's got to take with the queen, and yeah, it's not looking good. So he takes and I take, and now I'm threatening pawn here to force off the queen. So he can't play bishop takes here, check, because then I play pawn here. He has to take, and when I say check with the bishop, then I pick up the rook. But he takes it anyway. Oh, spot a better move actually than the pawn, of course, because check here gives me check here with the rook, which will be mate. Comes to h7, and I didn't play mate on h8. Oh, honestly, I want lot. This is my best win. This is pathetic, terrible. Still, I'm getting a new queen very very soon, and he attacks the rook. No real point. I get the new queen. I could have just moved the rook, but I realised that when I get the new queen, that I've now got queen here, mate. And he takes, and I play the mate. And yeah, that was the one. I'll just take a quick look at the game review and see what we think of that. See what the machine thinks of that. I'm not very impressed myself, but it was okay. Yeah, 92.6. Can't complain at that. Couple of misses. Yeah, that was the mate, of course, was one of them. But no blunders, no errors. 2500. Brilliant. Gotta be pleased with that. Book move, minus 0.64. So you are taking a risk by playing the King's Gambit. And a good player will just take the pawn, hold the pawn, and squash you into a corner. But, if they don't do that, then you're going to be getting a lovely attack. He's too long in the tooth to play queen here check. As I say, it's not a good move. So I take with a bishop. It's a book move. I think, as I say, taking with a pawn is also a book move. So it depends which book you read. So the knight comes out, and the knight comes out, and now it's just minus 0.22. And I've got the centre for the price of that pawn, so I'm happy. Oh, sorry. So I'm happy with that. He takes, and I take with the knight, ganging up on the f4 pawn. He says check, and the king moves, and now I'm plus 0.42. I'm at an advantage, even though I'm a pawn down, and that's because this knight is coming here with a tempo. And he protects the pawn, and the knight comes there with a tempo. And he pins the knight. Says it's a mistake. I think actually I can just take the... yeah, I think I can just take the queen anyway. Let him get the bishop here, and then I play pawn here, and then this pawn will eventually fall. I think that's the idea. D4, no, it said that's the great move to play. And he takes, he should get the queen out whilst he can. And that's best. I'm now almost 2 pawns up, which is great. And he attacks the knight, and I take the pawn, and now I've got 7 pawns against 6. I'm suddenly, instead of being a pawn down, I'm a pawn up. And his position, you know, you might think, oh well, my king's still weak, but it's his king that's weak. It's his king that will be exposed to an attack, not mine. And the castle's great. And I'd say, you know, get out of there with that queen. We don't want that kind of messing around here. And the queen goes back and keeps saying show tactic. Okay. There's no tactics show. I don't know. I don't know what that nonsense is. Anyway, I'll play a. Oh, I see. So the nice tactical find in that game. Yeah, yeah. So F6, yeah. Sorry, I just have to get back on track. So I chase the queen away, and then I chase the queen away. Yeah, and then instead of pushing the pawn straight away, I support my centre. He comes out with the knight, and now I chase the bishop away, and he retreats. And the rook king comes so that I'm ready to castle by hand. Best move. B6 is excellent. Still nearly 3 pawns down. And B2 is good, but probably playing the rook here was better. And that's a terrible mistake, because it allows me to play the fork, which was best, not E6. Okay, so great. And he takes the pawn, exposes my queen, and, you know, it might be just about survivable for him, but I just take the pawn. And he takes with the bishop, and I take with the pawn. I'm very happy. He plays the queen to attack the pawn, and get this lovely threat of playing rook to queen to f7 and winning the pawn. So he makes himself an escape square, and I could have taken that escape square from him. Yeah, well, never mind. I'll double up there. Fine, I'm happy to let him take that, and I'm happy to have these 2 pawns squeezing up his king. And my rook comes to a better position, and I support the rook, and yeah, it's great. He can. I'm looking forward to this here, or this here. He plays the pawn, and I chase the rook away. And I advance the pawn. I could have chased the rook further away. Of course, the rook doesn't have a good square to run to now. I should have played h4. That was one of my misses. Okay, fair enough. I understand that. I should have. And I could have taken here and then played pawn here. Yeah. Okay, understand that. But I take now. And he can't play this move, but I let him get away with it. Yeah. And really now he has to take with the queen, and that gives me mate anyway. But he misses it, and I miss the mate. That's terrible. That's a terrible miss. I'll admit that. But I'm getting a new queen. I'm not bothered. Yeah, it's saying I could have played here and then played bishop, and then played queen mate, but forget it. You know, I'm not under any obligation to find the absolute best computer line. Under the obligation to find a move which I know provides me with a win. And d8, queen, provides me with a win. He takes my rook, but it's irrelevant because I've got the mate. Yeah, that was my best ever rated win at Rapid Chess, apparently. So, yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment to my videos. Thanks. Bye.